Oh, too funny. Too funny. Well, all right. Our guest is on the line. She's from the area. She's from the Allentown area. She's got a freaking amazing kick-ass tune that I've been listening to all week. And everybody's going to hear it in a little bit. But let's welcome her to the show. The one and the only, Miss Stefanie Johnson. What's going on, Stefanie?
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. So we
Good.
finally
Thank
get
you for that nice introduction. Yeah.
So I'm kind of like still blown away. Like we've been talking the last couple of weeks, and it's not like you're that far away. Like you're from the Allentown area, and you've never played in the Philadelphia area, which is mind blowing to me.
Yeah. Well, that might change shortly, actually.
I think it's going to change shortly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually just things are kind of starting to happen for me now. I mean, I've lived in Allentown and Lehigh Valley my whole life. And really I just kind of started doing music because I loved it and it was a hobby, and I was a songwriter. I mean, I am a songwriter, and I just wanted to kind of, make a CD for just my own purposes so I can say I did it when I'm
Right.
like 85 years old, and, I'm like, I did this. I wanted to do it. I'm proud of it. And then it kind of just spiraled into this amazing thing. I never, ever believed that, the things that have been happening could happen. And it's, things are just kind of starting to boom right now for me. So I'm definitely excited to start playing at some bigger venues and do some shows outside of the valley and kind of get my music out there.
Nice. Now, I was going through and reading stuff about you, and you actually like started singing, I guess, as a small child by like it sounded like you started like instantly like writing your own songs and singing them into a tape recorder.
Yeah, I did. So I actually had my first solo when I was in kindergarten. I sang the I Can't Tie My Shoes Blues, which was a very moving number. And and my grandfather used to have this old cassette recorder at his house, and I was, over there all the time when I was younger. And there would always be a blank tape in it, and I'd push record and I would just start singing and writing lyrics, and then I started, eventually making kind of like a full show out of it. I would wear my grandmother's like big, round fluffy hat, and I put powder on my face, and there was like a little microphone that was hooked up to it, and it was this very old school, old fashioned recorder. But that's really how I started writing songs.
Now the question is, do you still have those tapes?
Man, I wish I knew where they were. My grandfather and my grandmother, they've since passed, and I'm not sure what ever happened to them. I think I did get the recorder. I just don't know where the tapes are. They might be in my mom's basement. I'll have to dig through one day, but I would love to find them because I remember doing it, and it would just be such a, a good memory.
Yeah. When the time comes when, after you've dominated the world of music and top of the charts and all that, and people are going to want to hear those tapes, and they're going to put through the documentary about you, and they're going to need to be part of that documentary. So you're going to have to find them.
Well, let's hope it comes to that point. I know, like, my kindergarten video will probably be part of that, but that was I ended up doing a really silly dance midway through, and then I tripped over the microphone cord and I rolled my eyes real big, and then my dad was holding a handheld, video camera, and it's shaking because he's laughing, and it's that one would be a great one for the documentary, but it's on a VHS somewhere.
So now, how at what point did you decide to really start trying to do this?
Well, I think it was around 2008. I was going through a separation, and it was a really low point in my life, and I was trying to find the confidence to find myself. I kind of felt lost for a while, and for so long I kind of felt like I put my wants and my needs aside, and it was really when that happened where I'm like, okay, here's my chance. You get one life, now you need to go be happy, and you need to go do what you love, and you got to run with it and don't look back. And I think that's what really motivated me. And during that hard time, I had learned to play the guitar, so I was writing a lot more, and I was really, diving into some deep emotions. And once I kind of got this book full of songs, that's when I wanted to hear, in my ears what I could hear in my head. And then I went to Brian J. Anthony Studios and made it happen.
Now, it sounds like when going through that point, like, do you think that helped you get through it? Was the whole musical thing and be able to? I'm sure you probably really wrote some emotional stuff going through all that.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. It was therapeutic, and it always has been. Even when I was younger, my parents got separated when I was really young, and I had a hard time dealing with that. And even at that age, I always used music to kind of help me cope with things. And it's only really been within the last couple of years that I've tried to start writing outside myself and write more like happy, upbeat stuff, because I'm so in tune and in touch with, my more somber feelings. But it's a growing process for me. I'm trying to write more happier stuff because I am in a good place right now. But yeah, I definitely use music to cope with a lot of the things that I struggle with in life, and I think most artists do that.
This week, literally, it mentioned probably a handful of times. It was weird, like throughout this week, the same type of message. How music is the best medicine for you, no matter what. Like something. I just kept seeing it repeated over and over. It's weird.
Yeah, it really is. And I think I'm a fan of Gavin DeGraw, and I know that in an interview one time, he had said that he never really wanted to pursue music because he felt that it was a selfish career. And then it wasn't until he started, understanding how much his music was touching people that he had said, it really is medicine, and it's truly a gift, and it's truly something that is so powerful. It can just completely change, the way you feel about something or help you cope with something. It's an amazing thing. So I completely agree with that statement, because it was medicine for me when I was going through that struggle. So I'm hoping that some of the things I wrote about can kind of help other people who may be going through the same thing.
So before the breakup, you never got into like really performing or anything like that, then it sounds like.
So I started out by just doing open mic nights, because I was really just so scared, and like I'd mentioned, my confidence was just so low, and I really didn't believe that I was good enough to be doing this, and it was terrifying to me. So then I forced myself to do it, and I said, just do it. It's an open mic night, just do it. And then, from there it kind of grew to I would book a show, and that would scare me, and I'm like, just do it. And then all of a sudden, it just became natural. Now I'm like, I love it. I can't imagine not doing it. I want to do it, all the time. I want it to be my full-time job, and I guess it really changed me. Music helped me, become the person that I am today.
Yeah, I think that's the thing now. It's like you're out there and you're starting to do it, and all. And it's like it gets harder to try to figure out, like, all right, now how do I make this like the full-time profession?
Yeah, it is. It's tough. I mean, right now I work a full-time job, and I have a daughter, and I have a house, and I have responsibilities, and then I have music. So it's really hard to balance it all. It really is. I can only hope that I get to a point where I have to decide to keep working my daytime job, or sign a contract that allows me to not have to. That would be like the ideal problem.
Right. Now, I saw some videos and all that. Like you were down in Nashville, I guess, a few years ago.
Yeah, I was. I actually went down with another amazing musician and vocalist in the area. His name's Jay Lapp, and we went to Nashville. We got to play at the Bluebird Cafe, and we went to a place called 12th and Porter. And really the whole purpose was to try to get someone interested in me, really, to sign a deal. We kind of did this whole show, and we invited people from the industry to come, and we tried to plan it around when the awards would be there so that all these people would be in town. And, I was kind of expecting, for it to, not expecting, but I was prepared for people to say, no, I'm sorry, we're not interested, we're not what you're looking for. But instead, nobody came, which I was not anticipating at all. I'm like, okay, I can handle rejection, but I need to get a chance because, I don't know, it just didn't work out. And we did get RSVPs from some of the people, but they just ended up not showing, and it was kind of a bummer. But overall, it was an amazing experience. I love Nashville. It's just an awesome place to be, and I'm hoping to go back soon to listen to music. But hey, if I could get a gig somewhere while I'm down there, that would be a plus.
What though? It looks incredible in the resume. So even if nobody doesn't matter. You were there, which matters.
Yeah. I was there, and we had to earn the spot to play too. It's not like you can just go to 12th and Porter, and there's so many talented musicians everywhere. Like, I mean, in every bar and on the street, I'm like, holy crap! I've never seen so many talented musicians in one place at the same time.
Yeah, that's like the mecca of musicianship now, Nashville.
Yeah, it's awesome. Have you ever been?
I've never been there. No.
Okay.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah.
It's hard to get out of the Philadelphia area.
You got to put it on your bucket list.
Absolutely. Now, you just released this album called Stefanie back in February?
Yes.
And actually, you worked with like some impressive names on this, and I was like curious, like how did you work with Paul Crook?
Oh wow! Well, there's one common thread there for all of the musicians that played on the album. So I was playing with my band, and a friend of one of my guitar players, or just an acquaintance, Charlie, who's actually the keyboard player for Punky Meadows, who's touring right now. He saw me, and he approached me, and we actually just had coffee tonight, and he was just talking about how he really just wants to help people, and business is, it's not what it should be, and
right.
There's not enough people just trying to help other people succeed, just for the common good. And I told him tonight, I said, you know what, I promise if I ever make it, I will pass on the goodness. Like, we got to keep passing it on. And, because we were just talking about the business and how, there's just so many people that are in it for money, or they never give back to the people that help them get where they are. And I don't want to be one of those people. Like, if I were to make it, and even if, something really good were to happen, like, I want to share that with every single person that helped me get there. So Charlie and I have developed a really close friendship. He introduced me to Paul and to Kenny Dubman from Prophet. Paul Crook is, Meatloaf's guitar player. And Charlie himself played on the record as well. And, all he had to do really was just play my stuff and say, hey, are you interested in this? And luckily they were like, yeah, I want to play. I want to be a part of it. So I was so fortunate to have them on there. They phenomenal musicians, and it's an honor to have them on my record. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Charlie's a great guy. I had him on the show. I think it was last year. He was promoting not Punky Meadows. It was another band he was in with Chandler.
Okay.
I forget.
He's probably listening right now, and he's like saying it. He's like shouting
I
it
know.
out.
Sorry, Charlie.
Charlie, call in and tell us.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but yeah, he knows, because I was just talking to him. I was like, I gotta go, I gotta call Bay, and he's like, oh, tell him I said hi. And I'm like, okay.
He remembered. Did he remember me?
Yeah, of course.
So now I was listening to some of the songs today, and one song that before we get to the single and all, and the video that I saw, actually there was like 2 or 3 different videos for it, but it all had like the same kind of message, and the song was "We Will Fight," and like there was one I saw it was very breast cancer related, and another one was cancer related. Now, like, was that what the song was written about, or?
So I actually wrote that song when I found out that my dad was diagnosed with cancer, and then once it was out there and recorded, I wanted to kind of use it to benefit as many people that have been touched by cancer as possible. So initially I had put the song on iTunes, and I was a volunteer for Relay for Life at the time, and was promoting that anybody that purchased the song on iTunes, I would donate 100% of the profit to the Cancer Society. I also did the same thing with the Colon Cancer Alliance. I actually had an opportunity to go to one of their benefits and sing there, and I sold some CDs and made a few $100s in just CD sales, and then I donated all of that to the Colon Cancer Society. So, I mean, I try to use do as much as I can with that song as possible, because it's applicable to so many different types of diseases and cancers and sicknesses and ailments. That I didn't want to just limit it to one specific thing. I actually just submitted it to be played at an AIDS walk that's happening in New York. So it's I just think it's a very powerful, uplifting song. And when you're going through such a hard time, again, music is medicine, and maybe it can help you find strength in a moment of weakness. So it's really the videos you saw were kind of created for whatever purpose I was using the song for at that time. But I think it just fits anybody who's going through a rough patch.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, and now the video, the single video, Word Man. I'm trying to, it was Tammy. Tammy, I'm trying
Tammy
to think what
Rivera.
There you go. She mentions you to me. I guess it was about a month ago, and right away I was like, all right, well, she sent me over the video, and I'm like, holy shit, this freaking tune is really good. Like, really, really good. Like this is like radio hit tune instantly. I was like, oh my God, all right, this is serious stuff here. So
thank you.
Great. I mean, I can't wait to play for everybody. It's just a freaking awesome tune. Now what's that? Like, what's the whole thing with that? Like, Word Man.
Word Man. So you're actually the first person that's ever asked me like what that song is specifically about. So I'm kind of excited to talk about it, because it's just such a strong premise that everybody can relate to. It's actions speak louder than words, and I wrote the song from a personal experience when I was stuck in a relationship, and I kept hearing that things would get better, and he would try harder, and he would do more, and it was just words. It was just words. And I just dubbed him as a word man, because that's ultimately just how I felt at the time. I mean, he's a good person. I don't want to be like bashing anyone, but yeah, that's just really how I felt. I think I actually wrote that song at like 2:00 in the morning, sitting on the floor, like bawling my eyes out. And I was like, oh. And then I woke up in the morning. I'm like, was that real? Like, did I really write that? And then I went back and I'm like, I think I might have something here. Not that I want to be, sitting up crying my eyes out all the time to write songs, but it's just when you have such true, real emotion, your thoughts are so clear. It's just the words come so easily. The melody. I mean, I must have wrote that song in 5 minutes. To be honest, it was like boom. So
I'll tell you, you can hear the emotion in your voice, though. That's when I can truly love songs. When you can hear that emotion in the singer's voice, and you hear it in your voice, you can tell how meaningful it is.
Yeah. I try to when I'm in the studio, or even when I'm performing, I try to just close my eyes for a few seconds and just take a tiny trip back to the birth of that song, like just a tiny trip back to the place where I wrote it, so I can kind of pull some of that out, because I wrote that song maybe 4 or 5 months before I recorded it, so at that time the feelings aren't going to be nearly as fresh, so I always kind of have to dig a little bit deeper, because I want that to come through. I don't want it to sound like forced or faked or anything. I want it to sound like the true emotion. And I find that when I take that little journey back in my mind, that it really does come through again. So thank you.
How about when you perform that live? Is there ever, this just goes so well with tonight's theme, because myself and one of my co-hosts, Nick, we decided that we were going to do a countdown of the top 3 songs that make us cry. So, when you're performing, does this song ever get to you that much that you start to shed a tear?
Not thinking about the specific situation, but sometimes when I sing it and I feel it, I just feel really emotional. It's like a very emotional, very powerful song. But sometimes when I just sing it, it moves me that sometimes it brings a tear to my eye. Not really because of the person that it's about, but just because of the feeling. So yeah, it's happened, but only if I'm really, really, really deep into the moment. And then sometimes I get scared when that happens. I've already been so lost in a song that I'm like, oh crap, I forgot where I'm at. I'll just get so stuck in my head. I'm like, oh wait, are we at the bridge? That's already happened to me one time. It's I need to enjoy it and love it, but not get too lost, because I also have to pay attention to what's going on around me. So it's a balance, but yeah, that's happened to me before.
Now something too, that I noticed too, going back to the Nashville stuff, the video clips I saw from that, and all the stuff I saw from you. It's you went through the makeover as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I certainly evolved. I was always really drawn to country music, and growing up, I listened to a lot of country music. I feel like I'm a country girl at heart, because I just love okra and fried chicken and corn on the cob and barbecue, but I love the music. I do. I just love country music. And when I started, writing, I don't know, a lot of it just kind of came naturally as country. And then I'm not sure, what happened. Maybe I just kind of grew more into this country pop rock kind of genre. And a lot of that was, kind of the influence of Brian, who produced and really wrote a lot of the music to my songs. But now it's funny, because I'm still writing right now. I'm already on to the next album. And it's country. It's very country. I'm man, am I confused or what? I don't know. I think I just love it all. And there's not, but I guess, it's kind of tough, because what do you call my music? What kind of station do you play it on? It's so, in a sense, some of the songs are really rocky, and then other ones are more country. I don't know.
I was trying to figure the same thing out. And that was actually even one of the questions I had. I'm what genre do you kind of consider yourself in? Because you could fall into the 3 of those at the same time.
Yeah. And music nowadays, it is there's so much crossover going on. I mean, you look at Taylor Swift and where she was years ago, and then you look at her now. I mean, she's definitely evolved, into a pop singer. But there was a time when, her songs, which were country songs, were being played on pop radio, and it was like this pop, with country, and then I hear Jason Aldean on the radio. And actually, I heard Jason Aldean on the radio, and I'm like, okay, now my song could follow that. Like, I think that would fit okay because he's country, but he's really rocking too. But then it's like, I don't know, if you would play my song after, I don't know, Carrie Underwood, I don't know if that would make sense. So I really don't know. I mean, we're shooting for country radio right now. That's what we're trying to get on with Wordman, because I think in the beginning it definitely starts out as like a country song.
Right.
But throughout it definitely gets better, and it has its twists and turns. So I don't know. We're shooting for country, and we'll see what happens.
Well, there is like you said, the whole crossover thing going. There's so many like country and rock crossovers going on anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like perfect for it. So you definitely got the right track.
Well, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that a pop person, pop radio doesn't hear and say, "Yeah, that's too country." I mean, I don't think they would, because I think if anything, it's more pop rock than country. It just has these twinges. It's just Brian is amazing. He, I tell him what I want, and I tell him what I hear, and then he hears his own things too, and then we just come up with this. I don't know. It's just a really cool production. Like, I'm just so proud of the production on this album, and that's really 90% him. I tell him ideas, but it's just he's just really good. He's just really, really good. So a lot of it, it's just ideas we came up with together, not even thinking, well, what should it be? It's just like, oh, that's cool. Let's do it.
Now, in the video, whose Corvette is that?
Well, it was my stepdad's, but he doesn't have it anymore. I don't think. Yeah. I don't think they have it anymore. Yeah. I know. It's funny because we went over to my mom's house. The house is my mom's house, and we went over there to shoot the video. And Josh, who shot it, he's with Jack 9 Films, he saw the Corvette in the driveway, and he's like, "Oh my God, we have to put that in your video." I'm like, "But for what? Like, does it go with the?" He's like, "I don't care. That's going in your video." I'm like, "All right, whatever. Go for it." He's like, "That car is so cool. Can we drive it in the grass?" I'm like, "I don't know. I guess so." I mean, sure, why not? He's like, "Okay, because that's going in there." I'm like, "All right." So it was like all of that, I kind of gave him total creative freedom to run with that. And I didn't really, I was very easygoing with the whole thing. I'm like, okay, for it. I just can't drive it because it's sick.
Now, is there any more videos planned, or?
Well, actually, Charlie and I were just talking about that tonight. We are wanting to do a video for All I Know. I don't know if you heard that track yet, but it's probably one of the heavier ones. So I'm not sure exactly when that will take place, but it's definitely on the horizon.
I can't wait to see it. Very good. Cool. So now, what's we're already in the April of 2017. It's flying by. So what are you thinking the plans are for the rest of the year? I know it sounds like you could be coming to Philly very soon.
Yes, fingers crossed. I mean, I am. I don't know if anybody else is coming with me, but I'm already like, yep, I'm doing it. I'll be there. I have to, make sure I bring the Dan with me. Yeah, we're playing at Music Fest, which is, a pretty big deal. Yeah. I've been trying to get in, for a while, and I'm so excited. We're playing 2 sets actually, and it's on. I think it's on the opening day. It's either the opening day or the day after. It's on August 5th, which is a Saturday. So I'm super excited about that. I think it'll give me a great opportunity for people to hear my music and get to know me as an artist. Yeah. And
That's a huge thing.
Get it heard.
Yeah, that whole music fest is, it's a really big thing every year.
Yes, it is. It is. And I really wanted to get in. And I almost missed the deadline this year. And I'm like, oh, man, I missed the deadline. And I happened to just have an email address from, someone that had booked us, that we had played at the Arts Quest a few years ago. And I was like, I know, it's like the deadline's almost over and there's probably no chance, but if you have anything open. And she replied back and she's like, how about August 5th from this time to this time? And I said, yes, I'll take it. And then I was like, oh, man, I forgot to check with the band again. But we're good. We'll be there with the full band.
Nice. Very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, so where, let's get the plugs out there. Where can everybody get the album? And it's called Stefanie.
Yes. Yep. So it is on Amazon. And you can also, the links to purchase the album are on my website, which is www.stephaniejohnsonmusic.com. And Stefanie is spelled with an F, so it's Stefanie. And that's really how my parents spelled my name. People have asked me that before. They're like, do you really spell your name that way? And I'm like, yeah. And then my joke is, my parents effed it up.
Look at you.
I'm so funny.
Very, very cool. And we have that out there. And also, too, no stalkers, please. You don't need no stalkers. Just,
man. Oh, that's right. I told you that. I had to change my personal page. I was getting weird messages, and I don't need that.
I can imagine. The lovely world of social media.
I know, and I was talking before about how I don't really, I really am not a big fan of social media, and I just feel weird, honestly, like promoting myself and promoting my music, and I just don't like doing that. That's the part of the business I really just don't like. Like, I'm a singer and I'm a songwriter, and I like my music to be heard and to be out there, but that part of it I really just don't like. And now that I kind of, I have to, it's part of the business. I don't really have a choice. It's like, as my numbers continue to grow, it just gives me more and more anxiety, because I can also be a very paranoid person. And man, I watch Catfish a lot, and there are just some weird people out there, and the bullying that happens online. It's just a scary world to me. So it's I'm so torn whenever I see. I'm like, oh, great, I got 1,000 new followers. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm scared. I really am. It's so uncomfortable for me to, I don't know. Obviously, it's important. I have to be noticed to get my music heard. But, on the same token, I'm a pretty private person. So it's a little hard for me, and I have to get used to it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to be out there in the public eye and be private.
Yeah, and this is nothing. I can't imagine what, celebrities go through. Oh my gosh, I would be scared all the time. I am just a paranoid person, and I would just be so scared all the time. I don't know. I don't even think I would go near a computer. I would just have somebody else manage that, and it's just, I don't know. It's just scary. I'm just a big baby. I really am. I'm just a big baby when it comes to that kind of stuff, because I'm so paranoid.
It's scary. Hey, bottom line, it's just the world is scary, and there's some really weird people out there.
Yes, agreed.
Agreed. So, all right, well, let's Stefanie, I want to thank you so much. I'm going to finally play this song for everybody so they can get to hear and experience the music. And
Okay.
we look forward to talking again and seeing you soon. And yeah, we'll keep
All
spreading
right.
we'll keep spreading
Thank
the
you
word.
so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was great talking to you. You'll talk to him before I do, so tell Charlie I said hello. And Charlie, if you're listening, the band is Radio Exile. So there you go.
Oh.
I remembered. Thanks to my co-host Nick. So all right, so let's get this out here. Here's the song finally.